Welcome to Arts Talk TV. We're putting the spotlight on creativity. Hi, I'm Karina Lawrence and welcome to Arts Talk TV. We're here at the Huadon Boutique Hotel and Event Space in Woollahra, Sydney. Now this gracious and elegant Victoria-style residence was designed by Frederick Quate in 1878. It's since been refurbished and attracts business travellers and art lovers to unwind in their favourite space and feel right at home. They have an assortment of function rooms both inside and outdoors for VIP events and celebrations, with the lounge area being a perfect place to sit back and enjoy a cocktail by the fire or snuggle up with your favourite book. I am so excited to introduce you to our next guest, a dance educator and mentor, international judge and producer. He is Australia's initial founder of national dance competitions, the man himself who makes everybody reach for the stars. Please welcome to the show, none other than Peter Oxford.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Hi, so great to have you here.
It's great to be in this wonderful venue.
I know, isn't it beautiful?
I love Sydney history.
Yes.
So it's great to be here.
Yeah. Now, you initially grew up in Sydney and you have studied a huge assortment of dance and acrobatics. What was the main focus in your training that you went, I really want to create a career in the entertainment industry?
I think I was born to be in the entertainment industry. and I was actually only born like a few streets away.
Wow.
On Crown Street,
Yeah.
which is right on Oxford Street, and my last name's Oxford. And I was a dancer,
Meant
so
to
I had
be.
no hope. Yeah, I was always going to be a dancer. What made me decide I wanted to be in the entertainment industry was probably doing shows at a young age, from the age of 8, being on stage and shopping centre shows,
Yep.
which, you obviously you get the reaction from the live crowd.
Yeah.
And that adrenaline feeling that you get every time you do a performance. It progressed on to later on wanting to be an educator and facilitate what I've learned to younger generations of dancers.
Now, you initially were featured on Young Talent Time, the national show. Was that within the competition side of things when they had that on the show?
Yes, so I was on Young Talent Time when I was about 14, and I was on the same episode as Kylie Minogue was on there. Danielle's sister Kylie, so she wasn't even big time then.
Yeah.
Danny was bigger. But I remember spending time with her and how life could have changed.
So what got you into dance initially?
I wanted to be in the entertainment industry, but I have cystic fibrosis, which everyone does know. And back then, any exercise is important to keep the lungs clear. So my mum's like, okay, we'll put him into tap classes because it'll be good for his lungs. So I started off with tap, only once a week, and then it progressed to acrobats. Then it progressed to jazz and ballet after that, and obviously then I'm going every day. So it was for my health originally.
Right,
I mean,
okay.
obviously, didn't want to play soccer or football.
Yeah.
Wanted to be a dancer.
You were also a finalist in the Young Achiever of the Year Awards. Tell us about that experience.
The Young Achiever Awards was probably in my mid-20s, and a couple of parents at my dance studio that I operated nominated me. So I didn't know about it till literally like a few days before, and then we got to go to the finalists.
Wonderful.
Which was presented by Channel 10, I think, at the time.
Okay. You've also hosted the radio show on Free FM.
Free FM radio. Yeah, so I had an interest then in doing radio for 5 minutes. They were trying to get a broadcast license, so obviously it was a volunteer role, and my show was on Saturday mornings between, I think, 6 and 9.
Okay.
So I'd have to go into the studio, be ready at 6 o'clock, and I remember going a few days before my first broadcast and having to learn how to use the equipment because no one else is there.
Right.
It's community radio.
Okay.
And I got to meet my first drag queen. But Free FM, it was a great opportunity, and I did that for one season.
Yeah. And what was the show about?
I could do whatever I want for 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
I think I just did some movie reviews and promoting some events in Sydney that were happening. Every sort of 20 minutes you could do a bit of a 5 minutes in there.
As an accomplished dancer, you were the first Australian to ever travel to the United States of America and win back-to-back titles in Chicago, Orlando and Las Vegas, all in the same year.
Correct. So I did the first one in Chicago and then went straight to Las Vegas, did one there, won those ones, and I went to Orlando, did that one there. And I remember coming back on the Qantas flight
Yep.
with all these trophies, and they're like, "Oh, do you win them for soccer?" I'm like,
Oh, wow.
"No, tap dancing." No Australian had done that before. And then after that, that's what started all the American tours with kids going across, because obviously I thought it's a great opportunity.
Yep.
Got the idea for Showcase Australian Dance Championships from North Sea. Everything just connected after that. Just happened to get a dance magazine when I was over there a trip before and saw these ads for dance competitions, because there's no way in Australia knowing about dance competitions in the US. So I just called them, and then I think I faxed an entry form. Faxed, yeah.
You had your own dance studio for over 12 years in Sydney, where you were the producer and choreographer for Showbiz Kids Show Group.
Yes, we had a studio which was Oxford Academy of Dance.
Yep.
And then we created a show group from that, which is called the Showbiz Kids.
Yep.
And that was the kids who went to America and New Zealand, and then we secured an opportunity to take them to China. So the Sydney City Council centres, and they couldn't send a representative from the council, so I had to do all the official speeches, and I remember the speeches were written out for me, translated into Chinese.
Wow.
And then when we got there, I had a translator. The council sent a film crew with us. They had a Chinese film crew. It was an experience that the kids who went back then still talk about as adults now. And this is before social media, obviously, even before the internet. So we're turning up in a country that's not open really to the Western world. It was just such an educational experience.
How many was in the cast?
We took 15 dancers,
Okay, yep.
3 teachers,
Wow.
and we took about 5 parents as chaperones. That was what they paid for.
You also took the studio to compete in Las Vegas, Disneyland, Florida at the MGM Grand. Was that competition based?
So we went to the MGM Grand Hotel in Las Vegas, we did a competition there, and we were the first Australians ever to perform in Disney World, Florida, Epcot Centre. Because that was a brand new opportunity too.
Yeah, of course.
And they didn't know where to put us because we're an Australian group.
Yep.
So they cleared one of the stages of all the shows one day, and they gave us that stage.
During your years as a dance educator, you were also an in-demand judge, and you've judged all over Australia as well as the US, Canada, New Zealand and Singapore.
Going to Singapore was a totally different experience to judging in Canada. Obviously New Zealand's very much like here.
Yep.
Portugal was the Dance World Cup,
Yes.
so we were seeing kids from every country.
Wow.
I was judging with Bonnie Lithgow, Adam Garcia. And judging in Canada, I did that twice.
Yep.
That was the experience. We ended up taking our Dance of the Years over there as an exchange back in those days. Singapore was mainly a ballet-based competition.
Okay.
Prize that we did when I went there was a trip for a dancer to come back to Australia from Singapore. I love seeing all the different cultures and the different dances, especially when I was in Portugal. That was amazing. Like I saw Bollywood dancing, I saw the hardcore hip hop dancing from South Africa.
Gosh.
And just the big production numbers from all over Europe and the UK. And I'm looking forward to taking Team Australia again next year when we go to another event called Global Dance Open, which we're very excited to be going to as well.
You also had some guest teaching roles in California while you were a judge at the Rainbow National Dance Competition in Las Vegas.
I was teaching tap in San Jose.
Okay.
And I met that teacher because she was a dance travel agent. Then I was teaching in Dubuque, Iowa. That's a way back story, and that's really how Showcase started as well.
So you're the founder and CEO, president of the Showcase Australian Dance Championships, as well as the Hollywood-bound National Dance Championships now. It's dominated the dance competition industry in Australia since the mid-1990s. Take us on that journey.
It was a lot of hard work. Can't believe how I started it.
Yeah.
Because there's no internet, there was no websites, there was no social media. All you had was write addresses on an envelope, photocopy all the information and send it through the post and pray. And then they'd fill out the entry forms and send it through to you with a check attached. And you'd still pray every time you open the post box that you're going to get enough entries. And then I think just the hard work and the reputation and the honesty behind it. I mean, it's gone through its highs and its lows. With Hollywood Bound and Showcase, when you've peaked at 15,000 acts.
That's
in one
incredible.
With 33 cities, 2 finals.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and now I've changed the whole way people qualify. I've got a lot of friends who've obviously got big dance competitions, respectable ones. I was very cautious about which competitions I brought on board to be qualifiers. And obviously they've got to have a good reputation and they've got to be well respected. And it's up to 60 qualifiers. And we're getting so many different kids from different areas of Australia that wouldn't have the opportunity to come to our finals. That final show, I see that as my last chance to show off the Showcase product. And that's obviously with our signature Dance of the Year.
Yep.
And Battle of Stars is a signature event, showcase. And that's what I'm always so proud of, is when I stand on stage at that last awards and I'm announcing those Dance of the Years, and I don't know who those winners are until I turn that page, and that's my my adrenaline.
And you also bring in like high celebrity acts to feature.
We have over the years, Tim Campbell, we've had most of the Australian Idol winners. I think the greatest one was Marsha Hines. That's something I want to give back as a gift to the audience, to see some celebrity on stage with the same stage and show their kids are dancing in. All the way through my dance career, everything I've learned from every person in the industry got to that final announcement of how I do it.
Wow.
And that's how I see it.
Yeah,
you can't do that if you're not trained mentally and have that passion. Anyone can run a dance competition, but it's how you produce it. And that's something I always say, I'm so proud of what I've done because I've learnt it from the age of 4 up to where I am today. And I was always told, put your name to it. Because then people respect you more because you're willing to take the risk. If something goes wrong, they're looking at my name. And I accept that responsibility. And that's how I've always been taught.
Ultimately, you're bridging the gap for international exposure and opportunities. Because I know it was very important for you to improve the standards of dance competitions. Give us an understanding of how you maybe saw certain things change within the industry.
Oh, I've seen heaps of things change in the industry, even from choreography, even from costumes, choices of music, the attitude. Well, the kids have got so much exposure to the international dance scene. They're seen on social media, they want to be like that. So we've got to give them a platform in Australia to perform on that level.
Yeah, you've toured over 800 plus Australian and New Zealand dancers to the US, Barcelona, Italy, Portugal to compete in the world dance competitions and conventions throughout the year, creating Team Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, that started back in 1992 when I took my first
and
own dancers to New Zealand.
Yeah.
I remember sometimes I'd hit tours of 170 people.
That's
going to the US. And I would be there for a month and I'd have busloads going all over the country. And then I had the Malaysia deal where I had studios going to Kuala Lumpur every May doing Australia Week, which went for 3 weeks. And they'd be coming in and out. I'd base myself up there for a while.
You've created and produced the South Pacific Championships at sea.
I've done dance cruises. I think the first one we took about 600 people on.
Crazy.
Second one was at 400. Sea days in the mornings, got the showroom. In the afternoon, got downstairs to do all the solos. Then on the last day, we did Battle of the Stars. Now the first ship we did that on, we did Battle of the Stars on an ice skating rink. But they said we can only keep it covered for 3 hours. Then otherwise the water starts to come through. So we're trying to rush this Battle of the Stars show through, and it's getting colder and colder in there. And I said, right kids, sit down for the awards presentation. No, stand up.
As a producer of an event like that, is that your responsibility to take the risk in basically you book out the whole cruise?
No, it's not a charter. The more cabins you book, more performance time and space you get. We had to book out a lot of cabins to get that time. I will bring them back. I've just got to get the right time.
I want to tap into that because you clearly are very determined. There's that attitude of there's nothing you can't do.
I don't know where I've got that from. I just put my mind to it and it's like, how can I achieve this? And then I just say, okay, I need to take people on this journey. Let's take them on the dream with me. I think it also comes down to attitude of, you've got to have a positive attitude. You can't have that I can't do attitude. You've got to have the I can do attitude.
Yeah, definitely.
And, reach for the moon, you might get one of the stars, or you've got to keep going. And you've always got to keep planning. And I think that's what's kept me going, kept me alive, is the always having to do something else. Every times I was sick, like really sick, I was like, I can't be sick, I've got these obligations. But I was never in Showcase to start with the money because there was no money in the beginning. It was my studio was supporting it. And there was times when I'd be with my parents going, they'd be like, it's not worth it, don't do it anymore. And I'd be like, no, we're doing it. We are doing it.
You were also one of 20 international judges at the World Dance Movement virtual competition.
Well, as you know, I work with Michelle Asa from World Dance Movement, and I said to her, why don't you do something online? And the good thing about it is I was seeing acts from Africa, I was seeing acts from Asia. One girl who was dancing in Africa in a village in front of her hut, chickens running around.
Oh my gosh, oh my
While she's doing an African solo.
In 2019, you received a letter from Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Personally congratulating you on your achievements for the 25th anniversary of Showcase, and also your commitment to raising awareness with CF.
When I got that, I actually cried. To get a letter from the Queen, recognition on such a high level.
Yeah, and the awareness.
Both areas that I'm very passionate about. And I was very honoured to have had that.
You've had a long association with Australia, both as an ambassador and supporting peers and a leader to other CF sufferers. You were really not meant to survive for very long.
No, 5.
I mean...
Then it was 10, then it was 20, then it was 30, 40. And then I got older than the average age. But now with Trikafta, it's been the biggest game changer of my life. I've been on Trikafta since August. I haven't coughed, I haven't done my nebulizer, I haven't had antibiotics, my medication's halved. I'm not as tired, I'm getting a bit fatter. It corrects the genes.
That's phenomenal.
How do they come up with that? I was always in hospital. The ward that we go to at Westmead was getting so run down and they didn't have enough beds for us. You had to be on a waiting list to get treated. So I went to the health minister, wrote a letter. You need to come and look at this ward. He came out to Westmead, he was what he saw. And so he called me into his office. I had to have an official meeting with Brad Hazard. And I said, we need to fix this, this and this. Didn't hear from him for 2 years. And I was answering, he goes, Peter Oxford. I went, yes. He goes, Brad Hazard, hi. He's like, what are you doing on Saturday? I went, nothing. He goes, you're meeting the Prime Minister.
Oh, wow.
So I had to go out to Westmead and it was an election promise from the Prime Minister that they would give $65 million to build Australia's first ever CF centre. And it's nearly finished.
Oh, wow.
They should be opening middle of the year. That's my legacy to the CF community.
You also were involved in a book release.
Yes, the CF Warrior Project. It was a worldwide book. So it was highlighting people with CF who've done a lot of things in their life.
It's endorsed by Celine Dion.
Celine Dion, yes, because she's got a connection to CF.
Right.
Yeah, so I did that one. Part 2's been released just now too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're also a contributing writer in the success industry book called Dance to Success.
Yes, huge project.
Yeah.
So I was part of that as well, giving your tips to the dance industry, up and coming dancers. Education's so important, and that was one thing that was always drilled into me. I went right through year 12, but that's what I always said to my students when I was studio, school comes first, dancing comes second. I was just reading a post now from a dancer who's had to give up dancing because they've had a hip injury, but they've studied at school, they're now going to sports law.
Okay, so let's talk about your charities, because you've always been very passionate in regards to orphanages. You created a documentary.
Yeah, we did a couple. There's one big one that we did. I took a film crew over to Saigon. I'd been going to this orphanage for a few years before that, and it was such an impact to me. I'm adopted as well.
Yeah, okay.
So I look at these kids in the orphanage and I'm like, that could have been me. I used to always come away from there. I'd take friends over, family over, and I'd always come away and not disturbed, but just kept thinking, I've got to do more for these kids. I remember the first time ever going there, holding a 4-month-old baby in my arms, and I saw him right through till he's 14.
That's incredible.
Every time I go back.
With regards to your tours and your travels, you also had opportunity with Bangkok and costumes.
Oh, I go onto the markets, and I honestly saw a feather go across the laneway, and I looked up, dragged my mother up. It was so hot in there.
Yeah.
And we just walked through this alleyway with costumes. And I went, what is this? So I came back to Australia and I drew this handwritten map for 2 dance teachers and said, just go over and see what happens. And now, I think they made so much money off the Australian dance studios, they've actually moved them into this big, massive, nice, big shopping centre with air conditioning.
Wow. In 2013, the New South Wales government appointed you the Child Safe Ambassador for Dance. There was quite a big upheaval, the protection of children in the dance industry and educating parents as well as teachers.
It was one of the most traumatic times in my life in the dance industry. Child Guardian kept getting calls all day on Monday from dance studios, and they said your name kept coming up. Call Peter Oxford, he'll know what to do, put him out there.
Wow.
And I learned so much from that. Like we had seminars from there. I changed a lot of things that showcase what we did with kids, and they're still implemented to this day.
Yeah.
And I'm confident that I'm keeping kids safe, and I'm more educated on what to look out for. But yeah, I'm very proud of that. Still to this day, I get people coming to me and saying, you know, what do we do here, what do we do there? Yeah. And they're working with children checks. That's when it really got hammered into us then. Yeah. Which I think's played a big role.
You signed with Stage Addictions, which is primarily an exclusive high-profile celebrity artist management company for iconic and respected recording artists and celebrities from across the globe. How does that feel?
Well, when I was getting a lot of media exposure,
Yeah.
it was constant. I needed someone to represent me and just sort of look after me, make sure I was being guided in the right direction. So back in the day when I was doing that sort of thing, not as much now. I like to see my photo next to all the celebrities on that website.
Why not? You were part of the main production team for the Olympic Torch Relay Committee and choreographer for selected venue openings for the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games.
Yeah, because where my studio was based,
Yeah.
we actually had some venues out there. We had the shooting gallery and the equestrian.
Yeah,
so they came to me to put together the opening ceremonies for those venues.
Yeah, right, okay.
And then from that, I got the torch relay. That was probably 6 months' work because you're on a planning committee.
Yeah.
So my job was like organising the dances, the entertainment, then getting that entertainment organised.
You've been a foreign correspondent for We On TV in
We On TV.
We On TV
We On,
in India.
They randomly message me at the odd times at the moment because I work weird hours. But I the ones I can do, I'll do, and it's all political based.
Yeah,
So I've got to know my politics. So they do send me the request, and I've literally got half an hour to an hour to do the research and get ready.
And then it's literally a live broadcast. Wow.
Live, because it's usually night time, 6, 7 o'clock our time.
Yeah.
Depends on the time of year, 4 to 7 say, and it's morning in India. I love it.
We've got a fun little segment on Arts Talk TV. It's called the Shutter Speed Challenge.
Shutter Speed.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to be good at it.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Last song you listened to?
Oh, As It Is, Harry Styles.
Good work. Yeah.
Song of the year.
What's your favourite thing about creativity?
The end result.
Person you'd most like to meet?
It would have been the Queen.
What would you say to her?
I should have been your son.
Last piece of art that really affected you?
I think the mirror ball in Oxford Street, I think that affected me, thinking, oh my God, this is amazing.
If you had to label creativity with a colour, what colour would you choose?
Probably blue.
Okay, what would you miss most about the arts?
I always think I can't retire because I always want to do something.
Yeah.
So I'd miss me being in it.
What's on your bedside table?
Melatonin.
What chore do you most dislike doing?
Chore.
Yeah.
Bathrooms, I have cleaners.
In one word, what does the arts mean to you?
Expressing who you want to be, achieving, being alive.
Peter, it has been so wonderful chatting with you.
It's been amazing. I never realised how much stuff I've done.
I know, right? What it highlights is the different range of the creative arts that you have been involved in, as well as that you've had so many opportunities that you've just gone yes to and you've created. It's obvious how much you have contributed.
And let's hope there's more to come.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
So glad you could join us today on our Arts channel.